We'll call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call.
Belsley.
Here.
Blunier. Hare.
Here.
Lehman.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
Parrott. We have a quorum.
Join me in Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no public hearings tonight. I do have a presentation. I'd like to announce to the public, whether they know it or not, that the Morton area has the two best chefs in the entire Peoria area. And earlier this year, we had a food fight 2018, which helps the neighborhood house fight hunger, and 14 local chefs participated. This was their 5th year, and 2 of our chefs have taken the top 2 positions. So I'd like to introduce them, and they can talk about what Neighborhood House does. So the first one I'd like to introduce is Chef Amanda Pyle, who took runner-up from the Cookery in Morton. Congratulations, we have a little trophy here for you so you can display at your restaurant. And why don't you tell Morton all about your facility and what goes on here in Morton. Whenever we have something to brag about Morton, we brag a little bit.
Okay. Well, first I'll talk a little bit about Food Fight. The very first time I competed in Food Fight was 3 years ago, so this was my 3rd year. And it was also the same week I met Chef Jeff Madden. And it's also the same exact week that I bought the cookery from Bill Turney, and it used to be From the Field Cooking School, for those of you that don't know. And I got the keys on the 3rd, and we did Food Fight on the 4th. So it was a pretty intense week, and then, long and behold, I won that year. So this is my 2nd time placing at Food Fight. It is a really, really neat event that helps the Peoria area and children in need. And I know that myself and Jeff feel very, very strong about the cause. So we will definitely keep competing. He makes it the funnest competition I do all year long with his friendly banter and comic performances, both before, after, and during Food Fight. So if you haven't been to Food Fight, I encourage you to go. It's wildly entertaining, very, very fun to watch, and super supportive of our area. As far as the cookery, we've been there just over 2 years. We are a cooking school for the public, ages 5 and up. We have become well known in the area for our cooking classes for children, ages 5 and up, and we are the only cooking school that does that anywhere in the central Illinois area. So everything is hands-on. We do a lot of ethnic cuisine classes, date night, ladies' night, cocktail classes, cookie baking swaps, children's classes, you name it, we pretty much do it. So if you haven't seen it or seen our website, we'd love you to visit. We'd love you to come in, check out a class, bring your family with you, and learn a few tricks. Everybody that works at the cookery is a culinary graduate or a culinary student at this time at the ICC Culinary Arts Program. So we really thrive on that and education and technique-based driven classes, and we're excited about it. And I think it's going pretty well. We also are a full-service caterer, and we do the farmers market every Saturday as well. So we love being in Morton. They've been highly supportive, especially the chamber, to our cause from the very first week I stepped foot in the door. So I'm very
And
appreciative.
hopefully we can be more supportive now that we know what's there.
Yeah, well, we're looking to expand on a few new ideas as well. So we would definitely love to stay here. As I said, it's been wildly open arms, and so we really appreciate that too.
Well, thanks for competing and winning.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the winner this year for the cook-off was Chef Jeff Madden with Kemp 208 here in Morton, and Kathy Kemp is here to award and give the speech.
Really bad. I can't do that.
Well, tell him he owes me one.
Oh, I will. Well, thank you. And I accept this
for Chef Jeff because he could not be here tonight. He really did want to. He tried to arrange a schedule. He had somebody here from out of town that they were at his house. So this is all him. And him and Amanda, if you haven't gone just to watch the two of them, it is highly entertaining. They really do banter back and forth. But it's an awesome charity that we love to support. And Jeff has sold some dinners there that has raised this year, I think, $14,000 in 2 dinners. So I'm very proud of that. So we will put this in the restaurant and definitely display it. I think most of you know Kemp 208. We've been there. My husband and I bought it 3 years ago in October. One of the best decisions I ever made. It's, a casual fine dining restaurant in a beautiful home in Morton, and we've been very successful and are so appreciative of all of the business from Morton, and we are pulling business from Bloomington and Peoria and Pekin, which is good for Morton, bringing tax dollars in, but it's just been awesome. It's been an awesome experience, and I, at my age, thought, maybe you shouldn't do that, but it was a good move. It was a good move. So I love it, and I know I see the faces of people that have been there and that. So Jeff and my staff do an awesome job. So thank you very much. I appreciate the award.
I might just read what they do. The neighborhood house fights hunger they feed more than 1,000 people, depend on the meals we serve. They provide meals on wheels to senior, critters meals to pets. And after school and summer meals to children in high poverty neighborhoods, and daily meals to children in our daycare and preschool. So it's a very good cause. Thanks for competing. And again, Morton has the top 2 chefs in the Peoria area. So thank you. Any public comments tonight? The consent agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting July 16, 2018, and the approval of the bills.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Belsley.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I have nothing tonight. Village clerk?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Village administrator?
I have a couple items tonight, Your Honor. The first of which is Resolution 05-19, which is a resolution authorizing successor agreement between the Village of Morton and the PBLC Dispatchers Unit.
So moved.
Second.
Might you explain what that is?
Basically, what, as you all know, but maybe the public doesn't know, we've been negotiating with our dispatchers union since April 30th of 2016 on their contract. In addition, the state had set down the mandate consolidating the local dispatch units into 2. So as of June 30th, 2018, our dispatchers no longer are our employees. The dispatchers had put basically their negotiations on hold, waiting for the results of the police union's arbitration with the village as to their union agreement. And so once that was settled, we discussed with them, and I think we have had executive sessions discussing this, what we would want to counter offer with them for their raises and for their health insurance contributions back to May 1st of 2016. We settled on that we granted them the same offer that what the arbitrator granted the police union, which was 2.25% for fiscal year 2017, 2.25% for fiscal year 2018, and 2.5% for the small portion of fiscal year 2019 that they were our employees. And then a stepped up graduated scale of health insurance contributions. This is just the agreement. Rather than redoing the entire contract document for this, the union and the attorneys and I agreed that it would be easier to just do an agreement just granting them the wages and the health insurance contribution, because the language in the document meant nothing at the point because they no longer were our employees. So this is just the agreement between the village and the union for basically their retroactive pay and then any retroactive payment that they needed to make for additional health insurance contributions.
Thank you. Any questions? Call the roll.
Hare.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The next item I have tonight is ordinance number 19-09. It's an ordinance making amendments regarding water billing to Title 8 of the Morton Municipal Code.
Move to approve.
Second.
Please explain.
Basically, this has two purposes, okay? The first of which, we currently have a what we call a forgiveness policy. If a citizen has a large water leak on their property, and we will forgive 3 months of excess usage. We look at their average usage over the past 12 months prior to the first highest bill, and then we look at the excess, and we would forgive that amount for them up to 3 months worth of excess usage. This is pretty much tightening the belt on that policy because we have basically forgiven over $105,000 in water usage since this policy went into effect in, I could look, several years ago when we first put it into effect. Granted, it's usage that the individual homeowner or business owner didn't normally use, and it's water that either a toilet was running, went through the toilet and down the drain and out. However, it's water that we processed. We spent village money processing and providing to the homeowner. So this ordinance will basically, excuse me, it tightens the rules on that. Pretty much, if a homeowner or a business owner comes to us and says they have excess usage, number one, the usage would have to be twice their normal usage because we've forgiven as little as $20 in water. So their usage would have to be at least twice. We would only forgive, say your bill was high in June. You would have to prove to us that you had fixed whatever was wrong, and then we would only forgive the excess usage for June and July because by the time you get your bill for June, July's already came. You haven't had even known that you had an issue to fix your water lines or whatever it is that has to be fixed. And the maximum that they can get is $500. We've had people get $3,000. We've had, for one business, we've had people get $1,200 for their home if a pipe ruptured. You can only get, the other thing that this would tighten up is if say a property owner owns multiple properties within the village, they can only get forgiveness on one property in 5 years. Currently, if they own an apartment building with 12 units and have 12 separate bills, they could get 12 if they had leaky toilets. And the main thrust of this is to put the responsibility back on the owner. You know, if you get a water bill that's, my average water bill is $45 a month. If my water bill came in and it's over $100, I would know I have a problem and I would start looking for it and I would get it fixed. We've had owners who will let it go the 3 months because they just don't want to deal with it, knowing that we would forgive the excess usage. And it's really not fair to those that are conscientious and keep tabs on their water usage. So that is the main purpose of this first part, is to tighten up those rules. And the second part is to change, and this the public, we will try to notify everybody in the public as much as we possibly can. Currently, our citizens are used to getting a bill on or about the 1st of the month. It's due on the 10th of the month, and that's the way we've done it, as far as I know, forever. The issue we have had with that is normally usage from, say, the 15th or 16th of the month to the 15th or 16th of the following month, which for water usage is not an issue. However, for our gas usage, our gas rates are based on the gas we purchase by the calendar month. And so oftentimes you're getting billed for a rate for gas usage that you didn't, it was used in the prior month when, say, the rate was lower. Half of that gas was used in the prior month, and then the rate went up, and half that gas was used in the next month. So we are now going to be reading bills on or about the end of the month. Bills would not be issued to the homeowners and the business owners until the 18th of the following month, and they'll be due on the 27th. I anticipate we'll get lots of phone calls because come September 1st, nobody's going to get a water bill or a utility bill. But what we anticipated, we worked slowly through the summer months because we wanted to do this over the summer when gas usage is low. We have worked towards moving our reading of the meters dates towards the end of the month, and so now for the month of August, we are going to read meters at the end of the month. The homeowner or the business owner is not going to get a bill until the 18th of the month. And it's basically going to be a 6-week bill because they've already been billed for the prior, they got a bill August 1st, they're not going to get another one until the 18th of September. We decided to do it that way rather than billing them at the end of August and then turning around and billing them again and on a short bill because then they would have 2 service charges. So in order to save the money for the homeowner or the business owner, we moved it and we'll do basically a 6-week bill for the first time. The only unfortunate thing is if there's anyone watering their grass, they may see a pretty significant bill that first month, which you can't get forgiveness for because it's not excess usage technically. However, but this is just to tidy up the usage. You know, it's not to Joe homeowner, it's not that big of a deal, but to Libby's and Caterpillar and our big users, billing them for a rate that may be for the prior month for usage that they had in the current month is not fair, really, to be honest. This is to try to tidy that up so that when you explain to a homeowner or a business owner, this is the rate based on this is the gas we bought, this is when you used it, and it all correlates together. So that's the thrust of both of these.
Craig supports this because he does all the gas buying in that, and he'd like the usage to line up with the purchasing of it. Any other questions? Call the roll.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Bosley.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Chief of Police.
I have Resolution 419. This is an agreement, as Julie spoke earlier, on the dispatch services. They've been providing this since July 1st when they took effect. They got this to me, had to be when I was on vacation, and I've turned it over to our corporate counsel who has viewed it. He's good with its verbiage. We had previously did an intergovernmental agreement, but this is something that is needed in addition to that to provide the dispatch services for our village, and it covers both the police and fire as well as anything that they may need to do later for public works as well.
Okay, could I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Counsel, you want to add anything to that?
The prior intergovernmental agreement was really to create the organization, as the chief alluded to, and this is to purchase services from it. So,
Any comments from the trustees? Call the roll then.
Newman.
Yes.
Bosley.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And Corporation Counsel.
a few things tonight, Your Honor. The first is Resolution 03-19, a resolution authorizing a reciprocal agreement on exchange of information between the Village of Morton and the Illinois Department of Revenue.
So moved.
Second.
I thought this should be the Director of Public Works. That's his title. Go ahead.
Did we get a second?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You can explain what we were
We're all
talking.
waiting
We-
anxiously.
They all want to know what we were
Department of
talking
Revenue
about,
has
so
to
go
say.
ahead.
So we're very anxious.
The mayor's clarification question was whether the title for the Mr. Loudermilk's position was appropriately noted in the paperwork. The resolution is intended to allow us to collect information on the telecommunications utilities which operate in our utility. Our intention is to verify that we're getting appropriate taxes collected from the appropriate utilities.
And by this ordinance, the only people that can do that is Julie and Craig then?
And I think this is pretty important at this time because for some reason, and I'm waiting to see what the information we get, our telecommunications tax has dropped significantly over the last few years. And it's a tax, if you think about it, you know, everybody has a cell phone, multiple cell phones, and they get taxed individually. You know, not as many people have landlines, but, you know, one family could have 3 or 4 cell phones. So I don't know why the telecommunications tax would be decreasing. So I'm looking
And
forward
it's
to
a
getting
very small
information.
tax in each phone, and trustee Steve Leach instigated that years ago, and if I believe right, we used to collect around $700,000 a year
Yeah.
in that, and it keeps going down. We notice it during budget, so we have to have a legal mechanism to ask the state for that info. So the administrator was the logical person to get that and handle it. We just want our fair share. Any other comments? Call the roll then.
Belsley.
Yes.
Harder.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next thing I have is ordinance 19-07, an ordinance making amendments regarding the regulation of an application for small wireless facilities to Title 8 of the Morton Municipal Code.
So moved.
Second.
Council might do.
This is this is responsive to recent state legislation which was adopted in anticipation of the rollout of 5G cell phone service. It's anticipated that won't happen on large towers like we've seen in the past, but on small cell deployment. And the state, by state law, authorized telecommunications companies to locate that small cell infrastructure within our right-of-way and gave us the opportunity to regulate that, which we want to do. We want to have control over the location and placement of small cell facilities within our right-of-way. So I worked with Superintendent Loudermilk on the preparation of this ordinance and worked in conjunction with a resource made available through the Illinois Municipal League to prepare this recommended ordinance.
Any comments? Questions? Call the roll.
Belsley.
Yes.
Harder.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The last thing I have is ordinance 19-08, an ordinance making amendments, and I lost my screen, excuse me. Ordinance making amendments regarding occupancy permits to Chapter 1 of Title 4 of the Morton Municipal Code.
Have a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
This ordinance has evolved in response to our staff seeing increasing problems with temporary occupancy permits. Temporary occupancy permits have been issued pretty regularly, but concerns exist about those situations in which especially we have a homeowner in a home and things aren't getting done in order to get a permanent occupancy permit, and it places us in a difficult position. In order to try to eliminate the issues we've been seeing, we've proposed tighter regulations which would make the approval process a more collaborative process involving Craig, Jamie, and Roger, increasing the financial compensation which must be posted to secure performance of obligations, and making clear documentation of the steps an individual needs to take to get their permanent occupancy permit to give us more ammunition when we have problems.
Any comments or questions? If not, call the roll.
Harder.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Director of Fire and Emergency Services?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Director of Public Works is on vacation this week. Planning and zoning officer.
Two items tonight, Your Honor. The first being a zoning amendment. It was petition 18-04ZA, Roth Southside subdivision, 350 West Queenwood Road. This would be the property just west of what was Overcash property on Queenwood. Ross had purchased this property and they were platting off the farm, home plus buildings, 2.2 acres. And I don't believe anything out there is going to be industrial. And I'm talking with Craig Loudermilk, our Public Works Director. We're not certain there's even utilities to serve that far west. This has been a home site since 1917, so 101 years. So that's really all it's going to be used for. And they just want to get the property rezoned and use it as a residential property.
Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Hare.
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The second item is 420 North Tennessee, the Methodist Church property. This is a zoning amendment change from RS to R1 and a special use to go along with their existing church property. It's really been the plan, and I think for ever since they built out there to do an addition of some sort, and there may even be a future one, but it'll all be contained within what this property is creating. So there's a rezoning from RS to R1 and special use for church. And it was unanimously supported at the Plan Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Call the roll.
Lehman.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Belsley.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Village trustees, anyone have anything tonight?
Tonight, Your Honor.
If not, there is no need for closed session, so I'd ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.